author and director of Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh, it's great to see you this morning. And so whenever you bring up something like this, you're accused of fear-mongering and, you know, that's a lie and you just hate foreigners, etc. But, I mean, these are facts. Here, active TB cases in Minnesota, here's one, between 2010 and 2014, 50% were diagnosed in refugees, 20% were immigrants, 20% other, 3% unknown. So there's an actual literal health risk from these people coming in that nobody wants to talk about for some reason.
I think when we think about the refugee issue, you have to subordinate the humanitarian welfare of these refugees to the more important security and health protection of American citizens. Let's remember that we live in a democratic society where we elect the government to watch out for us. And that means that the government's primary duty is to protect us, not only from foreign and domestic thugs, but also to protect us from the kind of dangerous diseases that can be imported into this country. So to pretend like that's a non-issue, that that's not a reasonable consideration, I think just shows how distorted our politics has become and how extreme is the political faction that's pushing this nonsense.
Well, that's right. One of the chief distorters and left-wing extremists is the governor of the state of Minnesota, Mark Dayton. So it's no surprise that the Minnesota Department of Health is pushing back. They put out a statement saying the majority of those refugees actually developed TB disease after being in Minnesota at least 5 years, and many had been in the U.S. at least 10 years. So these are not new arrivals to the U.S. Yet, if you look at the medical side of this, there's latent TB and can be triggered by other things once you get here. Why do governments run over themselves in states to apologize for this and pretend like it's not happening?
Well, what I find particularly morally reprehensible about all this is that it is essentially morality at somebody else's expense. Do you think that the Obama family for 5 minutes would consider having TB-riddled refugees live in the White House compound? Do you think the Clintons would consider doing that in their neighborhood in Chappaqua? No. So what these people get to do is to take these refugees, dump them on someone else, put somebody else at risk, but then claim all the moral credit for what they're doing.
That's exactly right. This is a way to make the powerful feel virtuous. But I'm struck by what you said a second ago about democracy. This program, none of these programs have majority support, just as Obamacare didn't have majority support, just as the global warming programs don't, just as transgender bathrooms. Like, none of the major issues we debate that are imposed on us by government have the majority support of Americans. Is that sustainable long term?
Long term, no, but I think in the short to medium term, what these progressives are all about, you have to think about what they mean by the word progress, and what they mean is centralization of power with them in charge. So this is their power grab that they're pursuing with almost naked ambition. I just hope the American people are seeing through it.
Yeah, no, you do a great job telling that story, the subversion of Americanism or America to the interests of the elite and a global perspective. Dinesh D'Souza, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, there's a reason Trump exists,
That's
turns
right.
out. Thanks, Dinesh. Coming up.